Okay. Hi, y'all. Happy Easter to those that are here watching and about to listen to a live that I'm going to give you a reading. I'm going to go over a vision that I had before I came on. I actually was going to video record my voice and present it with Julia's information, but I did that. I put my story on my voice recorder, and it just didn't seem natural to me. In that moment, I learned that that's not good for me, because like anyone that's been watching knows that Summer Moon Wells has been really a massive part of my journey within my spiritual self and learning about myself. What I did learn is I cannot do that. I video recorded my voice. It's the same thing, but when I speak it out loud during live time, like live, like with you guys, there's some kind of a mechanical something happens where it just comes through much clearer as I'm doing it live. I just really kind of learned that about myself 5 minutes before I was going to go on, because I actually have it on recording. But what happens is things change and more information shines through, for me at least, within the moment it is happening. So I learned that just this morning here on Easter morning, Easter afternoon, that I can't do that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go live and go into my channeling and recall it and do it live, because I feel as if more information will come through. So as I speak the truth through spirit, I'm going to be going over a PDF in between that shows Julia Potter. Her story is very interesting. Her face and her eyes speak. And yes, her name is Julia, and thank you to the member that put her in front of me. With that, hi everybody, and welcome to WCI Network, where truth prevails. All I do is speak and tell the truth through spirit. And yeah, that's it. And I want to thank all of my new members, those that have signed up as members. Thank you very much. I want to say, I wish I knew how to, let me see here. Wait, I'm trying something. Oh, this might work this time. Let me see. I'm trying something different. Oh, Moon Baby, member. I see it now. Darlene. Thank you. Moon Baby and Darlene are here that are members. See, I'm looking at it. Do. All right. Okay. Will be up here. I'm looking to see how else to do this. Okay. All right, guys. Those who have listened to me in the past know that Julia is a pretty major name that comes up for Summer Moon Wells. And the name Julia, I believe, is someone who could help shine the truth on the stories that are being told. I do not believe Julia was with her at that moment. I think Julia is in the spirit world with her. Julia really wants her story to be told. And it's super important. Is Julia with Summer Moon Wells now? Yes. She, I believe, after just going through the few things that I have gone through, has a lot to say. And I think that she is speaking through that. Oh, yeah. Is this members only chat? Were we able to do that? Member. Hi. Thank you. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. Love it. Thank you. I still trying to figure out how to make it members only chat. But it should be. Is it? I hope so. Let's see. Let me just try something before I continue. Settings. Yeah, I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so I'm going to go into sort of like a meditated state, in a sense, where I'm going to first tell you what came through last night. Not last night, just a couple hours ago. I shouldn't say that, just as I was getting up this morning. And see what comes through that is new. And also, I do know, welcome, Keely Neal, that there's a lot going on right now within the community of YouTube. And it's very interesting to me how certain personalities are showing themselves in the light, I would say. And they're not really recognizing that they're showing their true self through the actions that they're taking on YouTube, right? They're doing certain things, saying certain things, projecting certain personalities. I'm not talking about my members and my subscribers. I'm talking about other creators on YouTube that, to me, really show a lot of information about the Summer Moon Wells missing children. And I am trying not to feel frustrated and trying not to take it on as a sadness that these children are being, I wouldn't say ignored from getting their story told. They are being pushed aside. They're being pushed aside as if their story doesn't want to come out from the authority side. I feel like a silence. I feel a silence from the people who really do know the story, but they just can't talk about it. They can't talk about it. And it's really unfair to the children that have gone through the hurt, the shame, and a life that truly, truly isn't something that they asked for. 12-step women, thank you. Hi, member, thank you. See you right there. Thank you for becoming a member. So I feel as if what will happen, it's got to be a mother. It has to be a family member that is going to be coming. It has to be some family member or someone that's going to break the silence to an authority member that has no tie to it. That person really has to be very careful and take the right steps to the freedom of these children. They have to be very, very careful. And the way that they could do that is they need to go to someone within the government, within the authority level, within maybe a PI that has no understanding of or knowledge of this particular way of living, but has the right and the authority and a level of, I don't know, some level, I don't know what that is, but to bust it open. Because it's very silent, it's very sad, and these kids had no choice. They had no choice. And they're really, when I tell you that they're really begging for justice, meaning they're really, really begging for their words, for their story to be told, and they want to hear their story being told back to them. That's why I believe I have somehow become some sort of a vessel to blab this all out, because I've never personally seen it. I've only seen it through spirit. I've never known about a world like this. I don't know anyone in a world like this. I've never been subjected to it. I really didn't know it existed on this level until the spirit started showing it to me. And the words from these kids are coming through. They want to sit back and they want to watch and listen to their story being told on such a high level, and then they want to watch it crumble down. They do not want someone just thrown in jail. They want that person to watch and hear the story from the eyes of the children, and they want to watch their parents, the predators, whoever they are, listen. Because the children want them to know that their story is being told through the eyes of the children. That is a real, real, real important part of Summer Moon Wells' purpose. Hi, Donna. Really, really, really big reason for her purpose. And I believe we keep hearing Julia, Julia, because Julia just might be a pathway to telling the story through a parent's eyes. I don't know. I really don't know. I have tried reaching out to a couple of the mom's friends. I am trying to get a hold of the mother, because this presentation I'm going to show you really has similar elements as Summer Moon Wells' Missing Children across the board. There's one photo in particular I'm going to show you that is the most crystal clear photo we will have seen yet, with one of those bone things on her head. It's as clear as a bell. Here you guys could see the number 5 very easily. The number 5 is right there. We know that we see that clearly. Every child that falls within the Summer Moon Wells Missing Children, for those that are new, and Keely Neal, I know you're new. I know a bunch of you guys are new, and I'm telling you this so my members, my new members, and the ones who are really quite little fresh here, other than you really should go watch, Darlene, I know you've watched them all, thank you, the other videos, because it definitely does show the elements I'm talking about. But not everyone has the time to do that, right? It's hard. The number 5 that I have in the middle is very significant, as well as the neck, like a thing around their neck that you see here. Julia seems to have been subjected to this since she was born. Her story could really be shown and heard if, in fact, someone on her side chooses to break the silence. Choose to break the silence. Everything I do, you guys, on here is under the Section 107, the Copyright Act of 1976. I'm showing pictures of the mother and the child and family members because I feel as if it will help the missing children. I am not pointing fingers. I'm not saying anyone is guilty, not guilty. It doesn't matter to me. What the children want, it doesn't matter. They don't want to do that. They only want their story being told. This little Julia that is looking at us is asking for her story to be told and for the truth to come out, because it's going to come through someone. Someone is going to tell the truth. Photos like this tell, I hear such a different story than what you're looking at, that this is what makes the children really sad, that it's not what it appears to be. What you're looking at is not what it really looks like, because what's going on beneath these photos is the story they want others to hear. Her little smiling face with that little white thing behind her head covered in the blood is the story this little girl is so powerfully trying to get through Summer Moon Wells that she is overpowering Summer's voice. This small little thing that you see behind her ear is one of the visions I believe I just had. If you hear snoring, it's my dog. My dog is massive and he's snoring next to me. I am closing my eyes. This is what I awoke to. Like, leave it on this picture. I'm actually going to make this picture. Well, I'm going to actually make this picture bigger before I go into spirit. Because this is the photo that is very, very, very important. You have to listen to when I say this. This photo is crucial to the case because it has never been seen so closely and so vivid and with such, her eyes have such story to be told. Her eyes are telling you to please look above and beneath and inside and outside everything that we are being shown. This little Julia is showing it to us so clearly. And there's a lot more behind this picture, you guys, to show. But the most important element that's going to bring us to the truth is this little corner right there. That. This photo, you cannot, there's no way that you could say that there's nothing there. Go into spirit. Actually, before I go into spirit, I'm going to make sure that Summer Moon Wells sees that there's a Julia up here, and I want her to know it, and I want you guys to hear it. Oh my God, that's my dog is so loud. Summer Moon Wells, I'm about to give a message. Wow, animals. I'm about to give a reading through the eyes of Julia here. I'm looking to see if you have a message. So, what she said, and this is a repeat, I'm just playing it, you guys. This is what happens when I have spirit strong. She said, now that you see it, you've seen the animals. Now that you've seen it, you've seen the animals. And now she just said, Julia, animal. So this isn't a recorded, I'm doing it live. So anyone that knows how this miracle box works, it only really works if you're connected to it. Other than that, you get gibberish. Mallory just became a member. Yay! Thank you, Mallory, for becoming a member. Let's see what's up here. Thank you. Um, so this is truly through spirit, you guys. I'm really good at this. I know the things I'm good at. I know when other people bullshit. I know when other people, they really aren't hearing the words. The words are supposed to be heard that clearly. You're not supposed to take jumble and guess the words. If it's all jumbled, then it's saying nothing until it unjumbles. Summer Moon Wells has just recognized that we have Julia here. We're going to continue. Leaves. Leaves was the one word. So, to Summer Moon Wells and to all the beautiful children that are listening on this Easter morning, Easter afternoon, we all here at WCIA Network want you to know we will not stop until your story is told and heard and understood. Period. And that the guilty understand and hear clearly that we are telling the story exactly how they wrote it, through the eyes of the victim. Is that correct, Summer? She knows who it is what she said. She knows who it is that this is. She knows who it is. She knows, maybe she knows who this is, the picture, or she knows, I have to ask her, does she know who's going to help tell the story? Do you know who will tell the story? Okay. The vision that came through this morning, I was standing, a spirit, so this is through spirit. I'm closing my eyes. I was standing on a second floor looking out the window, and I see the front of the house just getting filled with cameras, people to get the story. It was filling with so many people, and I'm like, what is going on in front of my house? Why are they here? Why are all these people here? And I'm like, are they here to say that the Summer Moon Wells case was solved? I walked down to the door, so I was on it feels like a very large house. It was up on top. It came down to the doorway. And I didn't open yet, and someone said, I said, did you find Summer Moon Wells? Are you coming to talk about it? Are you coming to tell the story? And this lady was pushing everybody back, and she said, no, we got a phone call from this house that someone was in trouble, that we needed to come and do a safety check. Like they were coming to do a safety check. And I'm like, a safety check? No one called. There's nothing going on in this house that we need a safety check. I don't know what you mean. Like, and they're looking at me like I was going to be arrested. I'm like, I don't know. There's no one in here that would have made that phone call. And they're trying to push their way into the house. And I went to close the door, but this little child slipped out the door and went into the crowd of people. I'm like, where did this child come from? I was able to go grab the child back into the house. I could barely, this child was small, maybe 3 years old, tops. Doesn't speak English. He got back in to the house, and I said, someone in this house that called for a security check? Like, who is in the house? And I had like 5 or 6 women in the house quietly, because I kind of didn't remember they were there, or didn't know they were there. Not American. They didn't speak English. They were not from Mexico, because they were much more foreign, farther away than Mexico, because they were darker skin, very frail, no speaking. They not only didn't know English, but they didn't speak at all. They didn't speak. I don't know why. They didn't speak, they won't speak, or they couldn't speak. And this little child ran over to one of the ladies, and this lady picked this child up, wrapped this child real tightly in a white blanket, real tight, and she was squeezing it super tight over the mouth. And I looked at her, I said, you uncover the mouth. What are you doing? That child can't breathe. What are you doing? And she didn't say anything. She looked very, very, very scared. I pulled the little mouth open, just a little piece of the mouth. And I said, why are they here? Who called them here? She wouldn't tell me. Now, there are other women somewhere in the house. I didn't know where they were, but I now felt and feel their presence. This woman was sitting in a one, only could fit her and this little child that she wrapped up. Looked like a capsule, but looked like a shoebox, a child-sized shoebox. That's the size of it. Not an adult-sized shoebox. That's too big. I see it as, and it was wrapped like it looked like a pill capsule, like, looked like that. And she said to me, the lady found something in the refrigerator. That's in the refrigerator. It was old, real old, and it was in the refrigerator. I'm like, what? In my head, I'm like, there must be, in my head, in my vision, I see body parts. So the actual women that were there weren't expecting to see this refrigerator. Now I could say body parts. See, this is why I do it live, because I see it now. And the reason I see it now is because now there's a reason I pulled up this picture of Julia, because it's these. You see what's happening here? I do it live and then things come together. I do not predetermine what's going to go on. Now I understand why they didn't want me to play the video, because it probably just locked me into that information, and a lot more is coming through now. So the women were not expecting to see this white refrigerator, old-fashioned refrigerator, white with a long silver handle that you yank up like one of those refrigerators you see in restaurant refrigerator, I guess. Like, to me, it's an old-fashioned refrigerator I used to see at my papa's house. And it was small, and it was real bubbly looking. It's like a bubble. This reminds me of, actually. And they weren't expecting that, as if they're like, oh my gosh, is this what they're going to do to my baby? Then I was like, I can't hear you. You're saying something. What else are you saying? I couldn't hear her, and I was trying really hard in my vision to block out all of the other voices. And she said, water. Water. That was it. And she said, she was trying to tell me that the word water, just the word water, is important. I'm like, what the heck? She was sitting in a room, for one, and it's like above her head. Above her head, it was dark, no light, but I could see her because the sunlight was shining on her, so I was able to see her only during the day. Above her head, one side was slanted, like she was sitting in a little house with a roof, but only one side was slanted. The other side was not. The other side went further behind her. So what I'm seeing right now is one side has like a rooftop, and then when I look at her face right now, when I'm looking at her, the room goes back. It's going deeper behind her, but yet she is sitting against a wall that it's only the depth of her back of her body, like she's sitting in a chair, touching up to her knees. So what I'm seeing is she's in like a small area that the door in front of her is open, but when I close it, she's like in a box, but yet the box is enclosed to the other side of her. It goes all the way back. It's deep. It goes all the way back, or deep, or I don't know. It just is real deep, but yet her one side, her left side, because she's facing me, so her left side I'm going to draw it. I'm going to draw it for you guys. I'm going to draw it right now on a piece of paper and show it to you. Because now that I'm listening to myself, now that I'm listening to myself right now, I could see it. I'm going to draw it and then drop it in. Let me see. This, that. And that goes all the way back. Okay. That goes back. And this is the mom. Okay. All right. I kind of, so you guys could get a vision. Okay. What page is this? 3. Don't save. Okay. Let me grab this real fast. I want to grab this real fast and show you kind of what I'm looking at. Like, I didn't know what else to draw it on, so I drew it on her head. So this is what I'm seeing. I'm looking at a woman. I'm looking straight at her. The depth behind her is only the depth as much as if you were to put her sitting in a chair and her body in her knees. But behind her, instead of having another side of the roof, goes way deep back, like a separate room, like deep back. But we're only to know of this little side that she's sitting in. So if you were to go in someone's house and open a door, and like a closet door that was in the front of the house because it maybe shares part of the roof or something, and open that door, but you would see that's only the depth of a closet. But the truth is, this room goes further back than the depth of the closet. Way further back. All right, I'm going to continue. So this lady says, let me get back into it. Wait. Okay, so she's sitting there and I see super dark. The reason I could see it is because the sunlight's on her, but yet I see that it goes very far behind her, like a long hall of the same things. She says water. So I don't know what's happening. I'm like, who made the phone call? Who made a call? I open the door, I look around, and there's this one lady trying to make her way through. It's a lot of people out there. They're people out there because they came to the house because someone called, said you have to come here for a wellness check because there's something, and I believe they said body parts in the refrigerator. Now that I'm doing this again, because the only reason I think they said that, even though I didn't hear it, is I see it. I see it. And I looked at the lady and I said, she said, water. The lady looked at me. Now in spirit world, when I'm in talking and working with spirit, I don't see mouths move. The mouths don't move. I hear it. I'm shown it, but their mouths, they don't move. This particular time when the lady who is outside looking to figure out what's going on, I now understand that she actually came to the house to see if I was told the truth. Because no one else should be told this word water. She looked at me, and now I could see it right now as clear as I did the first time I saw it. Her mouth and her lips and everything looked at me and said water. I could see her teeth. And that has never happened before because mouths don't move in my spiritual world. They don't move. I hear their voices without their mouth moving. So what I'm saying now out loud as I'm listening to myself, her mouth moved and her mouth was like, and her lips, I could probably for sure match up to a face because I could see those lips so clearly. Not American. She has a job within a community that protects the people that fall into this category. So she had a feeling that this was in there, and it feels as if the word water was so significant to her that within that moment I felt her look at me knowing that I wasn't guilty of anything, like it just happened to be happening in my house. I felt the relief of, oh my God, she knows what I'm talking about. So she may have not said it, but what I'm feeling right now is she knows what I mean. And she was with someone else. See, my throat gets, wait. It's very dry when I do this. The lady next to her, she said water to that lady, and they were both like, we got to get in there. We got to get in there. But they needed to get in there without anyone knowing they were going in. Her mouth, I'm going to, see, now that I'm doing this now, I'm going to have to look at people's mouths for the next so many days that are coming forth in front of me, you see. Because I think I'm going to recognize the lady. I think I'm going to recognize the lady once I see her mouth in the next coming days. I think that's what's happening. And then I came out of my vision and I'm saying absolutely, positively, refrigerator, body parts, water, a room that looks like one room, sort of under a rooftop, half of the roof, and then it goes really far back. And I need to watch for someone that has a mouth like that. Okay. So, summer moon, Julia, I just spoke. Was that the words of truth? So, from what I hear, always Julia, from what I hear is we're missing the animal part. So she's telling me that it's very possible that what's in the refrigerator are also animal parts. Animal parts. So that's how spirit works. So I'm telling you that's the truth. Going back to these photos, I pulled a bunch of photos from just Google Images, right? And the Google Images always give me great information. The first thing I did notice about this beautiful little girl is that they change the shape of her teeth and mouth many times to look like adult teeth. Remember, this child is like young. She's a little baby. She has teeth like, let me show you. I'm going to zoom in and crop her real teeth. And this is exactly what they did in the B'nai Ramsey. This is what they did to the little girl's teeth. They copied and pasted, like many a times her teeth were her mother's teeth. Oh, now I get it. Maybe that's what they're telling me, to look at the mouth and the teeth. It will come through. When words come through spirit, it always winds up explaining itself. So this child, whoever is the guilty in this group, I want them to know, I know that those are not Julia's teeth or mouth. It's impossible. Those are the teeth of an older child. And that happens throughout all of this little girl's photos. So these are things I may, I'm doing this live, you guys. I have not copied and pasted any of these. I'm doing this live because I feel as if a lot of communication is coming through. So what I'm supposed to look for, according to these spirit guides right now, is the mouth and the lips of the person they showed me. And that person is going to be able to be found through this Julia case. I'm speaking in this kind of words and speaking as if it's the truth. It's not the truth until proven. I'm speaking it that way because the spirit guides are telling me to. They're explaining it to me as I'm repeating it as they're explaining it. So this is what I do when you guys wind up with a bunch of copy and pasted photos and blah blah blah. This is how I do it. I'm just doing it live right now, and then those cropped photos become a PDF. But this time I'm doing that PDF kind of live. So her teeth, this isn't the same person. They're different ages. Their eyes are different. And what you see, we know why there's a white thing around her head, right? Because I've been showing you these elements for a very long time. Here it is again. You see one picture one way with her mouth and her teeth like an adult, and then the next photo is like a child. This photo here is the one that I have the basically speaking in their language. This here on her shirt turns into a deep fake message. It's really not on her shirt, but you could see that this was completely tampered with. Let me do her mouth. Completely tampered with. And it was tampered, but all this, tampered, but all the same elements fall under the summer moon missing children's cases. This is the same thing that we see in summer moon wells. The faces are almost the same, but yet they're not. That face of Julia's has been created. And they cannot believe or understand why their story isn't being told. How is it that such smart authorities and people inside this world could get away with asinine shit going on, and they're exposing themselves on such a level, but yet they turn their heads? They turn their heads. You see her eye? They're just not the same eyes. The left and the right are different. You could see it. Her hand. I do feel as if I do feel and see that there are different spirit bodies coming through her. I mean, they're not all her. And I want this Julia to know that I see and understand her story. I see it. I understand what is going on here, and it's not what you guys think it is. It's not what you guys think it is. This Julia, her family members and her friends, not her friends, her parents' friends, someone through her side's going to tell the story. Right? They're going to tell the story. These pictures just are going to keep changing. They're going to keep changing. This collage, gives the story of the Summer Moon Wells missing children. Now, I do not believe that whoever put this together recognizes that the truth was going to come through these photos. I do not believe that she thought this was actually gonna happen. Shh, no, no, no. Shh, 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 shh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop and paste a few of these so you could see them larger. And this is exactly the same kind of a situation that a few of the other Summerwell's Missing Children's parents did. I can't really think of the name right now, but they made these. And they're real far away photos, but when you crop and paste them, you have a whole nother story, right? I'm going to put these together. So I'm not sure if this is the mother. Then she actually put a copy of a picture of her daughter's head in the middle. You see. She has told, see, look at this. I haven't even looked at this. She is telling the story. What the fuck? She put this in there, you guys. It's right in the middle. And that's an actual head on a platter. So maybe it will be this dumbass who tells the story. It's one of her friends because she doesn't have that same mouth, right? But she's definitely sharing the details. So maybe there is a reason to the madness of Julia. Because what do y'all think of that? What do y'all think of that? It's kind of fucked up picture, right? It's a very weird find. I'm telling you, I'm doing this live. I haven't shown this before. What do you guys see in here? Do you guys see the story? Let me find another interesting one to pull up. Because we definitely have a lot of information within this collage. See, it's pictures like this that's going to give them that's going to bust this open. I see what summer means. So when I show you everything in this collage, there's a reason for it, right? Hey, shh. Do you see this crazy picture? It's right up here. But that's a head on the other side of the wall, you see. On both sides. This is a very clever photo. Let's see. Any way we slice and dice this, it's information. Wow. Look at that. Tell me what you guys see. I would really, really love to speak to this mother. I have put a message out. Okay, very interesting. This room here was in one of my visions. This room right here, for those who have been with me from the beginning, I saw this room. I saw this room. This room was in my story when I said that Summer, or one of the girls, they went in a back room, a closet. It was filled with beautiful gowns and they were able to pick what they want. And I saw this room. This is a real place, you guys. This is a real location. So this is a real location that you see in those photos. Um, these are the things that I will be... Oh, wait, she's got a word in here. Opposite space. Wait. Copy. Paste. What's that? Let me look this up. See how the reflection is coming through? Lebit. Lebit. Let me see. Lebet. Let's see. Lebette space. Lebet. That's definitely something that has to be looked into, because Lebet. I mean, it could be anything, but the first thing that pops up on Google is office spaces in Texas. But I don't know. So that will be definitely a clue to look after. So to the one, I just saw what you sent. To the one that sent me Julia's photo, I don't think you do want me to mention your name, or do you not want me to mention your name? That's why I do that. Because you've always told me you don't want anyone to know who you are, right? So you're watching this, so why don't you say in chat, you're the one who sent me her name and photo? Because you tell me that you don't want anyone to know who you are because you're fearful of people knowing who you are. But yet you say, I see you got my photo of Julia, LOL. I figured them all out. You're involved. I don't know what that means, but just mention yourself in chat if you want me to tell them who sent me a picture of Julia to look into this. But I will not do that unless you tell me it's okay. Right? Because you send a lot of information, but it's extremely confusing. The person who I'm talking about will know who I'm talking about, but she doesn't want me to mention her or anything, but kind of does want me to. So just say in chat to the one who's listening, who you are, and that you sent me the picture. But I'm not going to say that without your approval, especially after 10 months of you saying not to say anything. So I have to just put that out there, because you can't just say that thinking I'm going to mention. So that's that. So you know who you are. Just mention yourself if you want to let people know who you are. So you're very confusing to me. You know what I'm saying? You're confusing to me if you want to be involved openly or you don't. Okay? Because the Julia face you brought me, I know of this Julia. It's not like it's new. It's not a big deal, but that's that. So this photo obviously has a lot of information, and that this case could give a shitload of information. And the most interesting information that is here is right in the middle. I think that once I print this out and do a reading on it, well, actually, there's a lot in the middle, but the very middle photo, if I were to crop out everything else, is this. Is very telling. This, you guys, is the winner picture in her photos. You have that. You have the hearts here. So I'm just going to zoom in to the most important information that I'm told to zoom into. Here are the hearts on her chest. Now this is the mom, I believe. I don't know. Here's the head. This is the head that I've been talking about. So I know there's a lot of creators like, oh my God, head on the platter, head on a platter. Well, that's what it is. The head on a platter. That's what it is. And you could see on the bottom, apparently all the hearts that are attached. Close my door. So just by pulling this one photo apart, this one photo that's in the middle of a major collage, you see the children's story. I'm not saying you see guilt. I'm not saying you say who's done it. What you see here is the story. It's the story. And it matches with the Summer Moon Wells missing children. This story matches it. And this happened not so very long ago, not as long ago as many other cases, right? I want to make sure you guys I wish I could do that. I really want to put it, let's see, sign. Shoot. I really want it to be a members only chat. Does anyone know how to do that? Anyways, the information that's coming out of these photos, it really does keep growing. And because I chose to go on and do it live, it's going to change as we're on the live. Because once you crop and paste these photos, oh my God, there's a lot in here. Copy. See what's going on behind them? These are very sad. This is awfully sad that this is the montage of her story. This is Julia's story. That's pretty much the closest you're going to get to a body covered in those red things. This child has not been found. The story of this child is she's not been found. She was, they say, abducted by her father, who lost custody 7 years ago, I think. She was not abducted by her father, who went missing with her. The photo that you're seeing in front of her is the story of the Summerwells missing children. This is awful. She has tear in her eyes. This child is in a very bad situation on the bed. These pictures are of her when she's older than they said she went missing. Period. Now you see why Julia was such an important name. This is why Julia was such an important name, you guys. This is Julia Potter. Okay. Let me give you a little information, because now we're kind of getting deep into it. Like, I didn't know how this was going to, I didn't know how this was going to go, right? Julia Potter. She was abducted as a 7-year-old girl who was caught in the middle of a bitter custody battle between her parents. Seattle police are asking for public health in finding Julia and Jason Potter. Julie has not been seen since November 6th, 2014. So she was 7 when she went missing. These are not pictures of someone who's 7's mouth, right? So it's 2014. Add 8 years, right? It's a big difference. But these photos really tell her story, and I will put together a great PDF with these stories. They're not good. They're not. This child deserves her story to be told through the eyes of Julia. I will definitely be pulling these apart. There's a lot going on. I know that not all of you see the information that's going on within these photos, and that's what I will make sure to do, is to mark them. Is to mark them and show you the information that's really quite hidden beneath these pictures. This little girl suffered. Let me just show you this, something that's just obvious in this picture. There's a lot. There's a lot to pull apart. But they really did not hide the things that they needed to put in these children's head. They didn't hide hers at all. And if they did try to hide it, it wasn't done very well. It's another picture of her with adult face. This is the one that I showed you that has the very clear thing behind her ear. I showed this one already in the beginning. You know, when Don would always say, oh, she loved to play dress up, loved to play dress up, this is to me what he meant by that. This is to me, when he said that Summer dressed up, it wasn't a dress up that she had a choice of what she was going to do. That's what I see. I will come back to this photo because I will be ripping this thing apart. This is a photo, and I'm showing the pictures of the children for the purpose of me knowing these children are in a bad situation. This is a photo. Here, I'll show you a couple things. There are children in this photo that remind me of the vision that I had. The ones in the back, they're in danger. They're in danger. These kids are being taken. These kids are being taken, you guys. I know that. I see that. There's other children's faces that are superimposed maybe over them, but these kids are all in a bad situation. And I am keeping their faces shown because this is a picture of the children that are being taken. How about that? How about that? And I have no doubt in my mind, not one parent will call me and say, "Oh, you had a picture of my child." These kids have been taken. Yes, this is a room. This is a room that none of those children like to be in. Wow. I wonder why this was posted on her Facebook for her missing Facebook. Wonder why this was posted. Very curious. I am going to jump to this photo. To tell you that this is a very, very important photo. One of the elements, you guys, that I have in the Summerwell's Missing Children was there's something that goes on with their foot, right? They connect, there's something that goes on with their foot. I'm not even getting into the story. Their one foot gets damaged, put it this way, their one foot gets damaged severely. And in this picture, it shows very clearly the foot that they damaged. She's all dressed up and there's a bike behind her. These are all very significant information, but the most important information to show me that this is a major case for the Summerwell's Missing Children is that they expose how damaged her foot is. And I see that in Summer Moon Wells's foot in the car, her foot shows like that often. But it's real tough for anyone to really recognize or hone into because, like, who's looking for that, right? Um, she is so many. The photo that I'm going to leave on is this one because this one is like her main photo for her Facebook. And how is it that no one has recognized that this photo is pretty shitty, right? Like you could tell something's going on with that. And the one that I had next to it in the presentation is this one. These two photos clearly show their heads connected by that, whatever it is. But there's a connection. They clearly are showing it. Why is that? Like, why and how and why is it that photos like this can be posted but not seen as if something is really wrong? Something is going on here that's really wrong. Something's really wrong. So if you recall, the lady that I showed you was walking around with the trees coming out of her, and she had this on the side of her body. Same thing. It's the same thing. It's part of the machine. But it's really taking the authorities a very long time to acknowledge it and to really say, well, maybe something is going on. That's the same thing that was connected to the girl walking around with the leaves on her and whoever else I have shown. And whoever has this on them is doing something like this. Whatever is between their head. We don't really need to know the logistics of what this is. All it needs to be is recognized by the authorities to ask the person, what are you doing here? And what is happening with her hand? Let me see the original. Let me see the original photos. This is the story, you guys. This is the story. This is the story that the children, Summerwell's missing children, want to tell and want it to be heard and recognized. And they want the ones that are guilty to understand that their story is being recognized. That's the justice that they're looking for. That's the justice that they're looking for. Nothing more. They don't give a shit about these people's lives. They don't care. They want the story to be told and recognized so it stops the process. So this is stopped, because even if 100 people get thrown in jail, it still continues. And you know why the children know that? Because they're in heaven with all the children that have lived through it. And there's so many of them that they're coming together to tell the story. When it just becomes so many people, the story becomes the reason. They will never see justice or feel that they have justice or they could be in peace until they know that they have been recognized. That they've been recognized. So really, really listen with open heart, listen with wide open ears, and without judgment, without looking to see who you could, point the finger to next. Whatever it is, these kids are in their position they are, and it keeps growing because no one listens to anybody. No one's listening to each other. It's a whole fight and argument, and no one's listening. We don't know where these people are, but I can't tell you that a photo like this, wait, I see very differently when I see a child that's in the middle of this situation. I see those pieces of wood very differently than I did 10 months ago. This picture to me, unfortunately, for the rest of my life, will never look like a child swinging on a swing. I won't see it. Just won't. The part of this picture that is so instrumental is that. So, like, if I were the police, I'd be like, so here's a photo of your child in the backyard of the swings. Can I please see those pieces of wood? If, why are they there? What is it that you do? How do you create those? They don't need to have the same ones. They just really, this is the information that they really should take a notice of. Take a notice of, because this is what they're hiding in the photo. This is what they're hiding. And this is really what holds, it holds the most important information of the Summer Wells Missing Children story. That and this. Very, very significant. And one of the things, even if we don't know what's going on with those pieces of wood, what I can tell you is they've been manipulated. The picture, like, who manipulates pieces of wood, right? Like, the pieces of wood here have been, the picture has been tampered with. See that? The top pieces have been, like, superimposed in there. You don't do something like that to a photo unless you have a rhyme and a reason. Unless you have a reason, and most of the time the reason is to cover something up. I could really see and understand a little bit more about Julia. She does have a lot of information to give. She definitely has a lot of information to share with us. And she may even hold the key to the person who is going to help identify and tell the story. That I really do believe. On that note, I am going to call it quits. And then pull together a few more things and put Summer Moon Wells' photos against Julia's to show you the ones that are the same. Happy Easter to everybody. I hope people's prayers and love and family and everything was shared together. It's a little sweet and sour for me because I know that today reminds me of something also that could happen with these children on a level that we just still don't understand 10 months later. I want to bring justice and peace to them so badly with all of your help and all of your understanding And thank you so much for becoming members. God bless you all. Thank you all, and have an amazing rest of your day. God bless.